umaga, Pilipinas. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Good evening, from wherever you are joining around the world. Thank you for joining us in today's webinar, where we will try to solve leadership conundrums, learning to lead, leading to learn. We are streaming to you live from the SEARCA online learning and virtual engagements or Solve platform via Zoom and Facebook Live. My name is Joe Florento, and I am the Deputy Director for Administration of SEARCA. I will be your moderator for this morning's webinar. The short video shown earlier has given you a glimpse about SEARCA and what we do. SEARCA is hosted by the Philippine government on the campus of the University of the Philippines, Los Baños. We are coming to you live from Los Baños, Laguna, the special science and nature city of the Philippines. This Solves webinar is SEARCA's immediate response to the emerging impacts of the COVID-19 global pandemic on food security by maximizing the use of information and technology platforms to inform, educate, share evidence-based solutions and tested technologies, as well as best practices on the ground. If you are new to this webinar, this is actually the 20th webinar since it was launched last April 28. The past months have made 2020 one of the most challenging years in our history. With the novel coronavirus pandemic, our leaders today face an adaptive challenge, a challenge that does not have a simple solution and requires innovative, inclusive, and strategic responses. For our farmers and farming communities, the COVID-19 outbreak has adversely affected them in ways that neither they nor the government could prepare for. This puts our leaders to the test as they rely and work with experts who will develop innovative solutions to overcome agricultural problems brought about by the crisis. SEARCA's 11th five-year plan, which was launched last July 2020, identified transformational leadership for agricultural and rural development as one of the priority areas that would accelerate transformation through agricultural innovation. In this webinar, we will be joined by experts who will share their experiences on what it takes to be a transformational leader in agricultural and rural development, as well as the lessons learned and challenges faced while serving at the forefront of their respective fields. Before we proceed with our online conversation, please allow me to just quickly go over some very interesting statistics gathered from the Solve webinar held last October 21. The infograph shows that 62% of our online viewers were female and the rest were male. It also indicates that more than 100 individuals tuned in via Zoom, while more than 300 viewed the webinar through SEARCA's Facebook page. We are happy to note that we've had online attendees not only from the Philippines, but also from Cambodia, Canada, Indonesia, Thailand, and Vietnam. Let me now quickly go over the program flow, which is currently shown on your screen. We will have our first speaker, Professor Dr. Myo Kywe, who is currently chairman of the National Education Policy Commission, or NEPC, in Myanmar. Dr. Myo will discuss his transformational leadership experiences and challenges in pushing for higher education reform in Myanmar. He will be followed by Dr. Jose V. Camacho Jr., Chancellor of the University of the Philippines, Los Baños, who will share with us his exposure in various leadership posts in an academic institution like University of the Philippines in Los Baños. Lastly, but definitely not the least, we will have Ms. Audrey Regis, President of Audrey's Confectioneries, presenting her reflections and mindset in being an agribusiness entrepreneur. For those of you who are tuned in via SEARCA's Facebook page, you may type your questions in the comment section. Please indicate your location or country of origin. If you're tuned in via Zoom, please post your questions or comments in the Q&A box, which you would find in the menu bar of your screen. Kindly indicate your location and or country of origin as well. I will verbally convey your questions to our speakers, and hopefully We will be able to cover as many as we can in the time remaining. Please be clear when you are posing a question to a specific presenter or if it is a general question that anyone can respond to. We will do our best to get as many questions as possible during the open forum. The webinar will be recorded and will be available on Facebook. Today's presentation will be on SEARCA's website, SEARCA.org. The slides shown in the past webinars have already been posted there. For your social media posts, especially insights or takeaways from the webinar, please use the hashtag #solve. And if you have issues or experiencing technical difficulties with the Zoom online platform, please contact at solve@searca.org. That is solve@searca.org. We now move on to the presentations. Our first speaker is Professor Dr. Myo Kywe, Chairman of the National Education Policy Commission, or NEPC, in Myanmar. The NEPC is an independent organization mandated to formulate effective policies in education for the sustainable development of Myanmar. Prior to joining NEPC in 2018, Professor Dr. Kywe was the rector of the Asean Agricultural University, the only higher education institution in Myanmar that offers both undergraduate and postgraduate programs in agriculture. He is also the chairman of the Agricultural University Alumni Association of Myanmar and serves as consultant to many NGOs and organizations. Professor Dr. Kywe holds a PhD degree in agronomy from the University of Kassel in Germany, a master's degree in crop science from the University of Queensland in Australia, and a bachelor's degree in general agriculture from the Asean Agricultural University in Myanmar. Here to present his insights on the transformational leadership for agriculture and rural development and higher education reform in Myanmar, please welcome Professor Dr. Myo Kywe. Sir.
Thank you. Let me share my PowerPoint. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Dr. Glenn and colleague from SEARCA for inviting me, and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm honored to be here to give a brief presentation about the first higher education reform process in our country. Let me tell you about our NEPC. It is a commission, first commission, to set up as an independent body under a new government. And it is not under the Ministry of Education, but it is our independent body, and it is formed under National Education Law 2015. And in NEPC, we have 21 scholars from different sectors. Let me point that out. We are making some policy issues on basic education, higher education, TVET, curriculum, teacher in high and law, something like that. So under NEPC, we have National Curriculum Committee. Now we are focusing on grade 10 to grade 12 in basic education. We haven't done before. And also we have NHUAC, Quality Assurance and Accreditation Committee, to make sure that all the institutions have high quality. And then recently, it was formed in 2018, Rector Committee, because unlike other countries, all the universities, we have 173 universities, are not only under the Ministry of Education, but also under different ministries like Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Border Affairs, something like that. And the recently reform process in our country, we don't have, not yet, autonomy yet. We have been in autonomy before 1962. Yangon University was autonomous university. It was flagship and reputable university among Southeast Asia region. And then we have not yet until this year, I mean, up to now. So we are going to reform autonomy process, and our university system are stand-alone system, like agriculture, focusing on agriculture, medicine, focusing on medicine, something like that. So we should have comprehensive university approach in the future, like UPLB or any other university. And we should have also to form faculty system, faculty strengthening to until, say, for instance, I have seen in UPLB website, 1,000 faculty member. We have some university like YAU, 200 faculty member only. And we need to focus on internal quality assurance, external quality assurance, and accreditation. And the most important one is internationalization. We have been isolated for more than 60 years. So we need to internationalize. We have to open up our education to abroad, like collaborating university among our ASEAN university and in the world. And we have to also encourage private higher education in our country. We haven't set up yet. We are now processing for registration of the private higher education. I have seen in the Philippines, you have more than 2,000 private higher education institutions. We need to be accredited by national level. And also we have to focus on open university system, because 50% of our students are now making the open university approach. And let me point out the use of the R&D and the GDP percent. GDP. So in our country, among ASEAN and other countries, we have the lowest use of the percent of the GDP in the research and development process, 0.03, compared to other countries, even ASEAN, Singapore, 2.17 of the GDP. World number one is US. You see that number one, they use R&D 581 billion US dollar they use, followed by China, Japan, something like that. Korea, they use 4.6% of the GDP for R&D. And let me show the percentage of graduate among our country, ASEAN country. We have many countries. And then you see that we produce every year 200,000 graduate every year, but agriculture, forestry, and petroleum only 0.6% of the total graduate, compared to Laos 8.5%, Vietnam 4.5%, Thailand, Philippines, something like that. Not only agriculture, we produce a huge amount of education, engineering, health, medical doctor. We need more now for the COVID, social science, business, services, everything. We are now more on pure arts, 45%, pure science, 23% compared to other countries. So that's why one of the professors from the Europe pointed out that our graduates are mismatching between graduate and employability. And let me show on the agricultural education. So you know that agricultural university is under Ministry of Agriculture and Irrigation. And it is located in the Yezin. It is in Naypyidaw. So some of you have already been to here. And then we have 7 outreach campus, but it is only for final students at the moment. SEARCA assistant, YU strategic plan. We have been to SEARCA for 2 times. SEARCA helped us to draw the strategic plan for YU. Thank you so much for SEARCA for helping that one. And you see that the department, current department, we have before only 5 departments: agronomy, plant breeding, soil, plant pathology, entomology, and horticulture. And then we increased horticulture and agriculture economics. And then I think in 2018, we have been upgraded to the remaining animal science, engineering, extension, biotechnology, food science, something like that. But if you want to compare with UPLB, I have seen the UPLB campus, I have visited all, look like a only college of agriculture level. This is the whole country. You will see that one professor from plant pathology, for instance, plant pathology, they have 2 professors. The whole country, only 2 professors in plant pathology. Agricultural economics, we are teaching, why we is teaching only agricultural economics. Other university or economics, they don't teach agriculture economics. Only 2 professors in the whole country. You see, we need a lot of human resource development in agriculture. As you see that is production of the graduate. Since we have established YU in 1924, nearly 100 years. In 2024, we will be 100-year celebration. Now, Yangon University celebration. We produce the alumni is 10,000 graduate. Philippines, even UPLB, you have 68,000 alumni. So every year we can produce graduate only on 350. That is focused on crop wise. So because definition of agriculture in our country sometimes it is not complete. Agriculture means we will be focusing only on crop, not animal. So at the moment, animal science is offered from our neighboring University of Veterinary Science, 100 students per year. I think it is only 3-year-old that since the graduation. So how we need everybody. Food science, we haven't. Let me check here. Indian government, like SEARCA, Indian government assisted YU. They offer master degree program in 2018. That was my final year, my rector. At that time, I was rector. Post-harvest technology, new genetics, and participatory knowledge and management, like agriculture extension. So we offer agricultural extension major in 2018. So only 2-year-old for majoring in our country. And the bachelor degree, we produce bachelor of agricultural science, general bachelor in crop science, agronomy, soil science, and plant pathology, something like that. But in the case of agricultural engineering, animal science, agriculture, there will be the major in now 3rd year stint, JICA assistant, our university, YAU, to have a credit transfer assistant. So in this case, the first graduate of that major specialization in food science, agriculture, biotechnology will be in 2023, not yet produced yet. And the first graduate of the fishery, you know that fishery in our country, separate division, separate. So Yangon University established fishery department, but first graduate of the fishery will be in 2024. They are still 2nd year stage. So we cannot offer master degree, PhD degree yet. And we have 34 technology university, but first graduate of the BE, Bachelor of Engineering, Food Engineering will be from Yangon Technologies University in 2024. And first engineering of the agricultural engineering major from Mandalay Technology University will be also in 2024. We have started now yet. That's where there will be the more postgraduate student, like R&D, agriculture and rural development. We cannot offer bachelor degree in rural development yet. So we need to offer many more degrees like agro-tourism, development study, agricultural marketing, agricultural policy, something like that. We have a lot of agriculture-related courses to be offered soon. And let me show you that slide. You will see that among our ASEAN countries, even Japan, we have so many agricultural universities. In Philippines, you have 24. Because I have visited UPLB, I have visited Visayas State University, even Visayas State in the southern state, Bebe city, it produces 7,000 graduates every year. Majority is agriculture. Apart from, so you have Central Mindanao, Central Luzon University, something like that. So many, so you will see that's we have only 2 universities, Asian Agriculture University, University of Veterinary Science, they offer Bachelor of Animal Science. So in the case of conclusion, so if the realization, the important, you know that Myanmar is agriculture country, we are still producing rice, we are still exporting rice. Process is the first one in ASEAN we export to India, but the realization is important. So if we realize that the high-level policy maker realize it is important, we will need to strengthen the agricultural education in the higher level as well as the vocational level. We have 14 vocational SAI, we call it diploma level, 3-year diploma. So we need to strengthen, and also we need to make all the graduates, total 173 universities in our country, we need to have matching study to be between graduate and employability. It is important. Otherwise, parents, students, and our country, our people are wasting our, not only money, wasting our time. We produce overproduction of the graduate, which are unemployment problems, something like that. That's why we need to have innovative approach in the higher education institution in agriculture and rural development, as well as some challenges. We have many. Thank you so much. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Chue, for sharing with us your transformational leadership insights about the need for an innovative higher education institution in agricultural and rural development, or ARD. We understand that ARD is a function of technical and institutional innovations that will lead to an effective and efficient utilization of agricultural education, which can lead to overcoming the constraints of agricultural productivity in Myanmar. For our next speaker, we are fortunate to have with us the newly installed 10th Chancellor of the University of the Philippines, Los Baños, or UPLB, Dr. Jose V. Camacho Jr. Before becoming Chancellor, Dr. Camacho held various leadership positions in UPLB. Chancellor Camacho served as the Dean of the UPLB Graduate School from 2012 to 2020. He also served as the Associate Dean and Chair of Academic Programs and Curriculum of the College of Economics and Management from 2007 to 2012, and Chair of the Department of Economics from 2001 to 2004. Currently, he is the Chair of the Technical Working Group, or TWG, on Graduate Education, and Co-Chair of the TWG for the Expanded Tertiary Education Equivalency and Accreditation Program of the Commission on Higher Education in the Philippines. Dr. Camacho obtained his Doctor of Economics with specialization in Economics of Education, Labor, and Human Resource Economics from Kyoto University, Japan. He holds a Master of Arts in Economics from Erasmus University International Institute of Social Studies in The Hague, Netherlands, and a Bachelor of Science in Economics from UPLB. To present his reflections on transformational leadership in an ARD higher education institution, please welcome UPLB Chancellor Dr. Jose Camacho Jr. Sir.
Thank you, and good morning to our participants to this Solve SEARCA seminar. I appreciate your invitation. We have so much work to do in the university, and despite all these busy schedules, I would find time to engage with SEARCA's Solve. I find this very engaging. So today, I'll be sharing you first my views about transformational leadership. And this I will juxtapose with my experience as Chair and Associate Dean and Dean of the College of Economics and Management, or in the graduate school, rather, and currently as Chancellor of UPLB. And then I'll proceed with my view of future-proofing. And in this view of future-proofing UPLB, I wish to convey the fact that transformational leadership is necessary. In my experience as an academic leader, from the time I started as chair of the Department of Economics, associate dean and dean, indeed, transformational leadership is essential. This is in contrast to various types of leadership or styles of leadership in the academe. The higher education institutions, just like any other organization, is beset with so many complexities like challenges of accountability, how to achieve, and on how to perform. In the views of Matthew Anderson, in his study of transformational leadership in education, he says that there is a concern over whether HEIs have proper management skills in terms of leadership, their styles of leadership, and the approaches necessary to ensure effective operational and the performance of these schools. In the same study, cited in Anderson, it cites that analyzing the recruitment, selection, and placement of school principals, that was the subject of the study. It was suggested far too many principals or school leaders lack the capacity to lead effectively. And in the same study, or in a separate study, a decade of research suggested training and preparation programs for principals failed to instill them with the skill set needed for pivotal leadership, which is necessary for producing meaningful school change while being held more accountable for student growth, achievement, and outcomes. It was also emphasized in another study by Anderson that, I quote, effective school leadership is critical to the overall school success. In other words, this type of school leadership is necessary for that organization to succeed. It was also added that in the article by Anderson, education leaders, I quote, may benefit from training and development in transformational leadership styles proven to enhance performance in business organizations and educational setting. So in here, we liken higher education institutions or the academe. Just like any business organization, it has leaders, it has objectives, it has purpose, mission, vision, and therefore the necessary resources, human, material resources, are necessary for the objectives of the organization to be successful in achieving its purpose and its mission. So in a resource material of Langston University, it was emphasized that the basis of transformational leadership would involve the following. One, that there is the importance or significance of group and teamwork. And in this teamwork, there is a role model, the necessary engagement of role models, the leader. And that leader should be a visionary leader, and change is of paramount importance. And the other qualities of a transformational leader is that transformational leader should inspire, in that it influence people to achieve more output and results with greater autonomy and motivation. And it embeds in its style of leadership, transformational leadership, among its members, that sense of collective ownership, that there is this cultivation of identity to the purpose and the noble mission of the organization. I believe that just like any business or any organization, higher education institution must have these types of transformational leadership. I have seen this when I chair various search committees for academic leaders, presidents, and deans especially in state universities and colleges. When I was appointed as chair of search committees to search for deans and institute directors. There is indeed that need to produce transformational leaders in order for that academic unit or any higher education institution to achieve its goals and mission. In the case of UPLB, which is, as we all know, has its niche on agriculture and rural development, on biotechnology, and environmental science. It is regarded as one of the leading universities in the agriculture and forestry. It is a university where a number of ARD, agriculture and rural development thought leaders in the ASEAN. It has produced this number of thought leaders in the ARD, in the ASEAN. Today, as we all know, UPLB is one of those top universities in agriculture and forestry. 5 of its certificates from the ASEAN University Network, quality assurance, it has been recognized in terms of the performance of the various agricultural and academic programs. In this achievement and performance, it is important to come up or for a transformational leader to emphasize that sense of collective ownership of these achievements. And in the Philippines, UPLB has indeed long secured its place as the leading ARD university in the country. It has been a model and a big brother of sort of the various state universities and colleges in agriculture. It has maintained its seals of excellence in ARD, higher education, through the various centers of excellence recognition from the Commission on Higher Education. Its graduates have always secured the top places in licensure exams, garnering about 100%, nearly 100% passing rates most of the time. And from its establishment as a small agricultural school in 1909, UPLB has gradually transformed itself, expanding as an autonomous unit in 1972. And today, the university, UPLB, has 9 colleges and 2 schools with 28 undergraduate degree programs and little more than 100 major programs at the graduate level. So 12 of these graduate programs and undergraduate programs would center on food security and agricultural modernization. Indeed, our forefathers and previous leaders in the university, together with the entire UPLB community, has transformed this university that it has become. However, in recent times, challenges at the global and local arena have also built up. Currently, we have the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic, which has unmasked the limitation of our existing processes and systems. We have the continuing threats of the climate change, the disruptions or the dislocations, the digital divide brought about by the 4th Industrial Revolution. So all of these challenges have unmasked the many limitations of the processes and systems in the university. And more so that government funds have dwindled. And this has constrained our operations, our continuing operations in the university. And also the various economic and political challenges that has continuously shaped the operations of the university. So what I am saying, why I have described all of these developments and progress and the challenges that we currently face, including the pandemic. We need transformational leadership. We need people. We need leaders where our members can rally around. So with all these things and with new university leadership and with my fellow new administrators, our rallying, our battle cry is for UPLB to be transformed by a set of leaders whose task is to continuously future-proof the university. But what is future-proofing the university? So as for me and my team, our vision of proofing university, future-proofing the university through a transformational leadership means that we wish to sustain UPLB's relevance through development of approaches and framework to minimize the cost and the impacts of future events, including climate change, typhoons, and the pandemic. It is being aware of the lessons of the past and our adaptation to the present circumstances and challenges, and preparing ourselves for future disruptions or dislocations. So we need a transformational leadership system to future proof the university, where we transform human resources, our students, members of the faculty, the extension and professional staff, the alumni, the administrative staff. We wish to future-proof our university, its lifelong learning and instruction system, its academic programs, its research and innovation system, and our commitment to public good and social welfare. Our global engagement should also be future-proof. And this would include our engagement with SEARCA and other international universities and institutions abroad, including the Myanmar higher education system, where most of our graduates and alumni are working. So with this, generally apply to the entire, while we generally apply to the entire UPLB operation system, all of these are applicable to UPLB's own endeavors on agriculture and rural development. We are committed, our transformational leadership style is committed to transforming our ARD students into the process of future-proofing by providing them opportunities and learning support system. We would like to revitalize our agricultural and rural development scholarship program, which is a grant for poor but bright and brilliant and diligent students from the farming and fishing communities in the country. So we will find ways to expand funds, sources to further expand the scholarship scope and benefits. We also would like to mobilize resources and donations to help our students adapt to the remote and learning and online flexible system. So we wish to future-proof our system by transforming our instruction academic programs, integrating data science, computing, the technology-supported teaching and learning system in our traditional niches by doing the following. One, by futuring our research, which would embrace digital technology to further strengthen our lead in agriculture, in food security efforts, in governance and nutrition. And we would like to lobby for the bigger budgets, our bigger budgets for research to produce research, the next in thing or the next big thing or ideas in agricultural modernization, food security, and rural development. Pushing further our research frontiers in smart agriculture and data analytics, thereby attracting the best and the brightest in agriculture and rural development research. Indeed, our commitment to transforming public service has a strong foundation in ARD transformational leadership. Public service in future-proofing UPLB will be manifested in drafting the agricultural research and development extension framework between UPLB and the Department of Agriculture. We wish to propose an advisory body to the Department of Agriculture. So future-proofing UPLB is not complete without creating new bridges in the international community. And as I've said, this would include SEARCA and other regional partners. We will attract high-quality ARD international staff and students and explore more innovative graduate programs in agricultural and rural development, in food security and climate change that we have forged and established with SEARCA and the University Consortium. The dual degree partnerships that we have established with UK universities. So we will continue to pursue all of these activities that will require a transformative future-proofing of the university, which is as achievable first and foremost with a strong transformational leadership and devising new methods of operations that will comply with international and safety framework or standards, and promoting compassion. This is important in transformational leadership, promoting compassion, that will be imbued among UPLB students, with our stakeholders, with our underprivileged communities surrounding UPLB, and in the various stakeholders of the agricultural sector. So a future-proof UPLB shall thrive under an environment where honor, excellence, and compassion will be ingrained in our mission, in our vision and goals, and in our actions to transform and to become even better. So, ladies and gentlemen, I wish that I have shared our vision of future-proofing UPLB with transformational leadership as its core values. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Camacho, for sharing with us your reflections on why transformational leadership matters in the academy, as well as how you face the challenges as a leader in the university. These include the challenges of accountability, achievement, and performance. To our online attendees watching the webinar via Facebook Live, you may start typing your questions in the comment section, including your location and/or country of origin. If you are tuned in via Zoom, please post your questions in the Q&A box, which you will find in the menu bar on your screen. Kindly include your location and/or country of origin as well. While waiting for our next speaker's presentation to be shared on screen, allow me to tell you more about our final speaker. Ms. Audrey Regis is the president and owner of Audrey's Confectioneries, which she founded herself in 2003. It is a food manufacturing business on mango caramel products that are available in 74 groceries and gift stores nationwide. Prior to becoming an entrepreneur, Ms. Regis spent 22 years in the banking industry before deciding to set up her agribusiness. She holds a bachelor's degree in computer application from the De La Salle College of St. Benil. Ladies and gentlemen, here to share with us her transformational leadership experiences through a recorded video, let's welcome Ms. Audrey Regis.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Audrey, a proud business owner of Audrey's Confectioneries, your local food manufacturer based in Cebu City. I became a business owner at the age of 42. That was 7 long years ago. Before that, I was a bank employee for 22 long years, employed mostly as a sales officer for HSBC and Citibank, selling their loan products and deposit products. Eventually, I became a sales officer managing Visayas and Mindanao with a total of 132 staff. I took the leap of faith to become a business owner when I became a mother. I was the breadwinner of my family and my family was becoming bigger, so I needed to earn more and find more time to raise my son. The decision to become a business owner was the best I ever made in my life. The product I chose to focus on had a high demand in the groceries, which made it easy for me to enter into major establishments as a supplier. They seeked me out, and there was no hard selling involved anymore. With 300,000 as initial capital, I ventured into my first business with the thought of answering the need of our consumers for more variety on dried mango products. I also focused on improving the packaging design of our local products. I want that feeling of being proud it's Filipino. I want to give that assurance of quality that comes with every mango caramel product that you purchase. When given out to your friends and family, you are assured that it will give them delight with every bite. The Philippine fresh mangoes are the sweetest fruit in the world. At Audrey's Confectioneries, we have transformed the famous Cebu dried mangoes into a feast of caramel delicacy. The unique combination of salty, sweetness, and fruity delight is at the heart of every bite. Imagine all that goodness covered with premium dark chocolate, nutty cashew, and pistachio. Now, how did I adapt during the pandemic? The sales of our products are directly connected to tourism, not just in our country, but globally. During the pandemic, when there was no essential and non-essential travels, our company sales was heavily affected. TTI, through the assistance of ARD Nanette Arbon, referred me to Amazon USA, which pretty much lessened the blow of COVID-19. My products became live in Amazon USA by the end of May 2020. Sales of our products are happening mostly online in Amazon USA and Shopinas. We are currently onboarding at Lazada and GrabMart. We learned that during the lockdown, sales are only happening online. Our products are available in 74 outlets nationwide, consisting mostly of groceries, Save More, Rustans, Metro Gaisano, and pasalubong centers in airports, including duty-free Cebu Terminal 2. Despite this many presents, the sales was not like before. So because of this, I had to gather my creative juices during the ECQ to create a new essential product to be able to adapt to this global pandemic. Innovation was the answer. I created from scratch frozen vegetable samosa from packaging design, sourcing local ingredients through the assistance of Region 7 Department of Agriculture. After 5 months of planning, the new product is available initially in 31 already Cebu grocery outlets at SM Save More, Metro Gaisano, and Enzo. And all this development happened during the quarantine. I made sure I had the solution, an essential product, my vegetable samosas, to counter the temporary loss in sales from my major product line. Thank you so much for listening. I am Audrey Regis once again. Bye.
Thank you for sharing your entrepreneurial journey with us, Ms. Regis. We are impressed with how you have set up your agribusiness, Audrey's Confectioneries, and your creativity in developing a brand that promotes local Filipino product. We are also fascinated with your adaptive capacity during this time of COVID-19 pandemic by developing another product that sells in the new normal environment. Not only did your business thrive, You also work with our local farmers by sourcing your ingredients from them. This is truly a trait of a transformational leader that challenges processes by stimulating imagination and resourcefulness. Thank you to all our speakers. We now move on to the open forum. The first question is from Kin Maung Soe, and this is addressed to Professor Chue and to Chancellor Camacho. The question is, how will universities in ASEAN have strong curricula to contribute to transformational leadership through multidisciplinary research and development? May we hear from Professor Chue first?
Thank you. Thank you. Let me answer first. In this case, two types. Now, one is within our country, we need to have cross-enrollment and interdisciplinary approach because our universities are offering by themselves, like arts and science university, economics university, engineering university. If we have integrated like UPLB, we will have a cross-enrollment and we will have approach. And we have this year, starting from this year, 16 pilot university will be autonomous university. From Yangon, 8 university. From Malay, 8 university. But unfortunately, YU is not included because YU is under Ministry of Education, Ministry of Agriculture. And in terms of ASEAN level, I would like to request also UPLB and YU, for instance, if we have signed MOU between cross-enrollment, so because sometimes we are sending student internship program to US, up to US, it is too far. So if we have agreement between UPLB and YAU just for one semester or 1 month, we will have innovative approach regarding transformational agriculture and rural development. Thank you. Right.
Professor Chue, may we hear from you, Chancellor Camacho?
I believe that choosing the next set of academic leaders, in this case, leaders with transformational leadership values, is essential in pursuing excellence in agriculture, rural development, and related fields. And this transformational set of leaders should be imbued with, as Dr. Sue has mentioned, that interdisciplinary perspective, that engagement with various expertise and with various thought leaders, having this appreciation that one discipline or one field is not sufficient to answer the multifarious problems of the university, particularly in promoting agriculture and rural development.
Thank you, Chancellor Camacho. Thank you. Our second question is addressed to Professor Chue from KRV Raha Subramanian. With huge advances in data analytics, IoT, etc., I think that there should be more formal collaborative arrangements with IT universities in Myanmar, say MIT. Yes. How can we proceed with this?
Thank you. I know Dr. Raja also, they are, that is a well-known university like Indian International Institute of Information Technology, Bangalore, and Myanmar Institute of Information Technology, focusing on IT technology. It is based in Mandalay. So if we are combining, the problem is we have management problem. They are under Ministry of Education, YAU is under Ministry of Agriculture. But Indian government make it project, a huge project, $20 million US project on that particular. So if we can have, like a credit transfer system between Mandalay and Yezin, it is not too far. So we will have opportunity for IT, opportunity for, especially for rural people. Now we are using mobile tablet, mobile phone. So if we are using mobile technology for extension of our pharma, so we need IT technology from MIT. So we can combine, we can make it formal agreement between. So if YU become autonomy and if the MIT become autonomy, the rector can sign MOU without controlling, without centralizing minister. It will be hopefully okay in the near future, maybe starting from next government, I hope. Yes, thanks all.
We have a third question, and this is addressed to Chancellor Camacho. Chancellor Camacho, I would like to introduce the Director of SEARCA, Dr. Glenn Gregorio.
Thank you very much. I have a long question, that's why I could not type it. So thank you for the speakers. Thank you for your insight how to learn from you and how to learn from others to make really an effective leaders in the academy. And this is particularly congratulations again to Chancellor Don Camacho in showing us how to shelter UPLB from the future disruptions. And of course, SEARCA is here to support your leadership and the new administration and for UPLB. My question is very simple. As a transformational leader, how can universities or UPLB, particular UPLB, be effective in responding to the immediate or real needs of our constituents, like our students, our faculty and staff, etc., amidst the present bureaucracy in the UP system? In short, how can UPLB be more autonomous or agile or quick as it is intended to be, which is especially important in situations like this, like pandemic, and of course the way of teaching students. So do you have any concrete plans as a transformative leader? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Director Glenn, and thanks for the support. In all the academic positions that I had in the past, and I have always I experienced that communication is key, in that you try to engage your members, the faculty, the students, on the things that you wish to pursue, the plans, the proposals. In other words, whatever platform for that communication engagement, whatever platform, whether through phones, or especially now that you have the social media, you have all of these social media platforms. It's easy to engage. That you have to send the message across, that the things that you wish to achieve, in order to navigate effectively this thing called bureaucracy. We know that we are in a system of a bureaucratic system. We can't do away with the systems and processes. We have rules, we have guidelines. We all know that these are set up to safeguard resources, to safeguard people, to exact accountability, transparency. And then you have said, you clearly said, there's a big challenge. And the challenge for me, in my word and in the other words of other experts, is to really how to effectively navigate those processes and systems of the bureaucracy. My message is this, that as long as you are clear with your vision, you are clear in engaging with your team members, that the very purpose of why you are elected or why you are chosen as a leader, it is this is my experience. It is easy to draw support. as I've said in the slides shown, that you have to cultivate that sense of ownership, that sense of autonomy, that sense of that they try to identify the things that you wish to do, identify themselves, their potentials, their capacities, that, hey, I want to achieve that mission because of the potentials, the characteristics, or the things that I have. I can contribute in achieving that mission. So I think what I've shown Director Glenn is maybe this could be some sort of a theoretical thing, but in general, there are so many goals and objectives of the university. But to draw that support from our members, it is important that you're clear in your message. And in this aspect, communication, dialogue is important.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chancellor Camacho. Having a clear vision, engagement with your team members, knowing why you were appointed, and effective communication is what I gathered from your answers. Thank you very much, Chancellor. The next question is for Professor Chue from Myo. What are your suggestions and opinions for reforming Myanmar agriculture and rural development in the short-term period, which is from 2021 to 2030?
Thank you. Regarding education, I'm focusing on education because agriculture is huge. So in the case of education, we need to have stakeholder consultative meeting, including, we have so many development partners like US, Japan, Australia, Philippines, or Thailand, something like that. And then we need to make awareness that high-level policy maker, why agriculture is important. Sometimes high-level policy maker, they don't understand agriculture is so difficult. What I'm saying is that, they think that it is easy. So we are producing a lot of rice. We are exporting rice, but we are exporting rice with, reduced amount of the dollar, compared to Thailand, because our rice are not good quality, because we cannot focus on rice milling technology. Agriculture is, we can produce a lot of high yield, high quality, good, appearance, something like that, good, but the problem is in the milling level. So in the case of milling level, nobody understands agricultural engineering, because agricultural engineering, they think that they have tractor. That's all. It is not only agricultural engineer, it's not only tractor, but also milling technology. We need to make research on higher level, master level, PhD level. We have 34 technological university offer throughout the Myanmar. No university is offering agricultural engineering yet. That's why we need to have so many focus on post-harvest technology, something like that. So we need to have consultative meeting, high-level consultative meeting, make sure that development partner make point out. Otherwise, bottom approach is not successful. That is my question and my answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Chue. I can remember high policy. The key is high policy making, okay, and the value of research in agriculture and partnerships and collaborations. Thank you, Professor Chue. The next question is addressed to Chancellor Camacho. Chancellor, how does the UPLB maintain the sustainability of research, both academic and development-wide projects within the university? This means in terms of funding, human resources, including internal and international experts. In the case of Myanmar universities, we really have less resources for these. This came from Mr. Tan, A.M. Tan from Myanmar.
How do we sustain the important key, one important essential components of this sustainability in doing research is the very people who carry out the research. This would include investing in their human capital, in their education. We have, as in the past, we send people, we have sent our staff and researchers and faculty and students to go abroad or to be trained to acquire higher education, advanced education. The next is, of course, the resources that we provide in doing research, the facilities, the equipment, the laboratories, all those resources. And this would also include the processes and systems, including procurement. But let me just center on the resources, because we all know we are always faced with resource constraints coming from the government. And here, as I have mentioned, that we should be creative we should be creative in producing or creating or generating resources. We have to forge partnership, establish partnership with international research institutions that can support our research agenda, thereby contributing to the purchase of important research facilities. So I'll just mention this to these investments in human resources, the researchers, faculty and students, and drawing or creating resources from our partners in view of the dwindling funds coming from the government. But of course, the government, as long as the government would see that we produce results in our research, that our research would contribute to the greater public good, that will create solutions to the various problems of the society, the communities, the government will provide funding for those research. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chancellor Sanchez. Let me just summarize some of the questions of Chancellor. Investment in human capital, and this includes sending faculty members abroad, okay, and a continuous development of laboratories within the university. And despite constraints in resources, okay, it's coming up with creative solutions in generating resources. And this includes proving that the research of the university contributes to public or common good. Thank you very much, Chancellor. The next question is addressed to Professor Kywe and Chancellor Camacho. During this pandemic, COVID-19, can we learn how are the supports that have been initiated effectively so far from agricultural university to the smallholder, agri-entrepreneur, public and private sector? This is from Divosh Dharma Silalahi. Let us begin with Professor Kywe.
Yeah, thank you. I think this is also important during the COVID crisis period. So even let me compare with your country and my country. COVID problem is more in Philippines than, Myanmar now. Myanmar start after Indonesia, Philippines and Myanmar. But your university are opening. I know that some of my students are studying in UPLB. So we are still close because of the because internet problem or whatever. But we should not forget about education. So if we cannot open regular classes, we should have, online classes, and then also extension department or university level, all the faculty member. I think we should focus to communicate with the farmers during COVID, because we have IT technology is not so bad in Myanmar. So every farmers are using mobile phone, so they can phone, they can call, they can use internet. That's why we should, it is my advice that we should awareness that if the class be also open online, like the Philippines, and as well as the extension work, service work should be prioritized for the faculty member of the, not only the YAU, but also all the university. That is my opinion.
Thank you, Professor Chue. Chancellor?
Yeah, I recognize the efforts of the various units and academic the colleges through their extension and public service programs with the online platform. They were able to conduct webinars on how to come up or establish the urban garden, how to the various programs of the College of Agriculture and Food Science, for instance. They were able to conduct webinars in on planting, doing urban gardening or gardening in backyard. They were able to demonstrate the different pest management or methods through online platform. So these are crucial because in this time of pandemic where people need to earn, need to learn, but given the limitations of mobility, in accessing information and knowledge, we need to be more proactive in providing those information. So these are just but one of those many activities of the university by holding or conducting webinars and an online forum or symposia that will provide methods and other forms of doing agriculture and farming that will contribute to earnings and for the agri entrepreneurs and small scale business people.
Thank you. I guess the answer is COVID did not stop our initiatives in helping the public and the common good. Okay, we now have a question for Ms. Regis. Ms. Regis, what leadership experiences from the corporate world were you able to apply or found useful in setting up and sustaining an agribusiness?
Apologies for the background, and I'm actually currently in the LAX airport on my way to Indiana. I just arrived from Manila and I'm rushing and trying to catch my breath. Anyways, the 22 years, to answer your question, I worked for the corporate industry for 22 long years. The people that I handle and manage are different, but what the leadership quality that any entrepreneur entails is, I guess, leading through example. So I've made it a always a rule in my life, even in my personal life and even in my corporate life, to always lead via example. So don't boss around. Always make sure that you're the model of your company, of your employees. How you want your employees to work will all depend on what they see in a leader. So I always make sure that they look up upon me. I'm always the first one to be in the workplace. Simple things like that. And I always make sure that anything that the senior management gives to me is done, and I finish it on time as directed and as expected. So I think that really pretty much kept my business going, and it's already been 7 years. and this is even my first business venture, and it really became successful for me despite that I didn't have any background in business management.
Thank you, Ms. Regis. Please stay with us. There are other questions for you. Thank you. But leading by example, okay, and meeting expectations are the key takeaways from your answer. Thank you very much. Oh, we have another question for you, Ms. Regis.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about your mindset as an entrepreneur when the pandemic hit, especially about involving our local farmers as a source of your local ingredients? How did you work with the Department of Agriculture so that you are linked to these local farmers? Can you tell us more about your mindset as an entrepreneur when the pandemic hit?
During that time, my products are directly, as I said in my presentation, directly connected to tourism. So if there's no tourism at all, there is almost equivalent to zero sales of my products, which is gift items for when you travel abroad or locally.
Mhm.
And at that time, I really needed an essential product, something I can quickly create, where I can sell locally only in Cebu, not even in nationwide Philippines because of a very expensive cargo pricing. As of now, the cargo pricing now is actually times 10 of what it used to be before. So I needed quickly to create a product that I can sell using the existing grocery accounts that I am in already as a supplier. So I thought, if we're in quarantine, we're on lockdown, what do we need? What does everybody buy?
Okay, we seem to have lost Miss Audrey. We will try to get in touch with her. Sorry about that. But in the meantime, we have another question, and this is addressed to Professor Chue and Dr. Camacho. This is quite interesting. It's quite a long question. I will do it slowly. The Philippines and Myanmar are two countries in ASEAN with the highest morbidity and mortality rate of COVID-19 after Indonesia. This is coming from Zhao Wu. How can we learn from each other's experiences and respond effectively against the pandemic? What are the chances of ARD in reviving the economies of both countries? It would be very good if SEARCA and CESD, the leading think tank in Myanmar, can work together to address the challenges of ARD sectors under COVID-19. But let me go to the key sentence. How can we learn from each other's experiences and respond effectively against the pandemic from an agricultural viewpoint?
Just give me the example. You are Philippines, you have everyday COVID positive case 3,000, 4,000. In our country, 1,000, less than sometimes 1,000. I just admire Miss Audrey. Even she is traveling to US. You know that in our country, our international flights are still closed. So that means that we need to open up our economy. This is important for our economy. Even domestic flight, we are also closed, something like so. We should, our top level leader understand that other countries like our neighboring Philippines, what they are doing, Indonesia, what they are doing. So we should have entrepreneurship approach, not only agriculture, but also IT sector, whatever. The problem is education is theory. Private sector, like Dr. Zhou, they are private sector. Private sector are private. We need to integrate public-private integration in our country. Still not functioning yet. That is our problem. So we have to solve up that problem. Thank you.
Enhance public-private interconnection is what I gathered from you, Professor Chue. Thank you. Chancellor Camacho, please.
Simply, we share experience and lessons learned on how do we do things more effectively in this time of pandemic. Surely we can learn so much. the systems and the processes that we're able to implement the things that don't work, and thus the things that work. This we can share with one another. In the case of our academic programs, through remote learning or through flexible learning, simply we can share why, for instance, students would have limited access, or how can we widen access? How can we widen access for connectivity for these students? So simply, we can learn from each other from these times of pandemic.
Okay. Specific to the pandemic, my key takeaway is we can exchange ideas, the challenges, and the solutions for remote learning, especially as this will benefit our students. Thank you, Chancellor.
Yes. Yeah, as Joe mentioned, other people would mention, there's no experts on COVID-19. We're still in the process of learning the things as they unfold. How do we open up the economy slowly, and how do we integrate people newly with the new normal? So it's a continuous learning. So we should be able to share the things that we learn from this. From pandemic. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay. Let us now go back to Ms. Regis. Ms. Regis, can you hear me now? Do you want to finish your answer on your mindset towards agricultural farmers?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So during the pandemic, I had to think of a product where all the products are sourced locally, because I can't even source products that is coming even from inside the country but outside of Cebu Island. So what I did, when I thought instantly of this frozen vegetable samosa, I first thought of, are all the ingredients available here? So what I did for the agricultural products, the potatoes, the vegetables, the spices, I contacted Department of Agriculture, Region 7, and I asked them to connect me directly to the farmers, so that my price of my supplies would be actually lower. There's no middleman anymore. So that's what they did. In fact, there's a type of vegetable, the fresh coriander, that is not available in Cebu. The supply of the fresh coriander is even from the northern part of the Philippines, which is from Baguio. So the Department of Agriculture actually asked one of the farmers to plant it for me. So I had to wait at least 45 days for the first harvest. And then I got all the fresh coriander that farmer actually planted for me. So that's the mindset of entrepreneur. You have to quickly adapt to it. And I think in life, change is something that's normal. It's the only thing that's constant, change. So in my mind, I became an entrepreneur. I created the mango caramel products. So in my mind, I'm sure I can create something that is essential during this pandemic, because I'm the breadwinner. I need to keep earning. So that's what I did. Created the product where I know will sell during this pandemic.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, Ms. Redis. Yes, as mentioned by Chancellor earlier, we're all learning on how to navigate through this crisis together. But I think one mindset that you have is just to be adaptive and knowing which
Yes.
offices and which partners to contact to push through with our objectives. Thank you, Ms. Regis. Ms. Regis, there's an interesting question for you. This is from Bea Martinez, and she wants to ask, how do you balance being a successful businesswoman and your personal life?
You make your business your personal life, I guess, because being an entrepreneur is not something like a job from 8 till 5. Your brain is still functioning. Like even if you go to sleep and then all of a sudden I remember something that I needed to do and I don't want to forget it anymore. If I have to write it down and I need to write it down, I will write it write it down on a piece of paper. I guess I'm still old school that way. I don't use the notes application on my iPhone. And so it's a 24-hour thing, even in my sleep, especially when I was starting the business. I had many sleepless nights because I came from 22 years being an employee where I'm used to getting a salary every 15th and 30th, and then taking that leap of faith and then changing my entire 22 years of income generation from salary to the business profit. So it's like it's so different. It's like this time I'm awake 24 hours thinking of ways to make the business stable.
Thank you. Thank you.
So you have to
Then,
mix it.
sorry, ma'am.
So you really have to mix it.
Okay. But one thing I got from you is as soon as something enters your mind, just have to write it down, okay?
Yeah.
Even though you're lying on the bed already, okay? The next question is addressed to all the speakers, but I will ask Ms. Audrey to answer first. This question is addressed to all the speakers, and this is from Hein Zhao. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. How will you open avenues for the youth to contribute to transformational leadership? What are your concrete plans for these contributions to be more sustainable? How will you open avenues for the youth to contribute to transformational leadership? We begin with you, Ms. Audrey.
My journey to becoming a leader actually was slow. I had to cultivate 22 long years of being an employee, getting trained by Americans and British, I guess. And it really helped getting training, leadership training from the leaders in business in the world. Um, it came slow for me. I started leading and starting my own business when I was 42 years old. So it's going to be difficult, but I'm not saying it's not possible to start early. But be prepared, of course, that you will be more prone to um, a not successful business, the first one that you enter into, because you need to know things, more things, nor general things in life, like I did, which was what contributed to my business success in my first attempt to it was actually my 22 long years of experience in the banking industry. So because of the different clientele that I had inputs of information coming from construction industries, the bakery industry, the service industry. So all this I gathered and kept in mind until I decided to keep my own bit to start my own business. So I'm not saying it's not possible for the young ones to become leaders, but uh, so something that's solid that I could share is I guess from my end, from being an employee, is that I guess they really need to start at least 2 years of becoming an employee so that they know more and learn more about life and people. That's my thought there. Thank you.
If I got you correctly, it's to experience office work first, okay, and before
Yes.
into business. Thank you, Ms. Regis. Let me now go to Professor Chue. How will you open avenues for the youth to contribute to transformational leadership?
Yes, thank you. We have to encourage the youth, say for our country, even in faculty member, we have to, the problem is compared to your country, our English proficiency is also not so good compared to your country. So you are producing, even I noticed that like health sector, nursing sector, Philippines produce a lot of nurses, and then they are working overseas. 2.3 million Philippine nurses are working overseas. That means you got a lot of money working there, something like that. So we need to create, we need to innovate that type of the problem. And then one of the professor, she asked from the chat box, she said, we have 2 professors in the every university. Now we have Yangon University, only 6 professors. This is government appointed. How can we transform? Because our system is since graduation, lower level, inexperienced, like a assistant lecturer, associate professor. But if we can appoint or allow the experienced teacher, like retired teacher, as a contract basis, 1 year, 2 year basis to every department, not only agriculture, veterinary, and forestry. We have a lot of experienced teachers here in the about 60, 62 years old, 65 year old, and then we will catch up the experience to handle to the young people to have like a Miss Audrey, because she didn't afraid of the COVID. She's traveling, but in our case, we are closing our international flight. We are afraid of. We are staying in our home. That's we need to open up our mind. We need to have international experience. This is my opinion. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Professor Chua. Chancellor Camacho.
In the university, we can expose our students to become leaders. Let them be exposed to real life experience through the materials that we use in the curriculum, in the academic program. We should be providing those inputs in our lectures. The materials that we used that will truly open up their minds on how to lead, on how to manage people and organizations. It will really allow their creative thinking, their creativity, their critical thinking. These processes, these activities and programs in the university would be very important. The other, of course, is a direct activity, providing them leadership activities, forums, workshops, some kinds of knowledge sharing or learning events that will truly present cases of transformational leaders. You invite people, you invite leaders, that will share their experience of becoming transformational leaders. I've learned from this during my undergraduate years, from high school up to college. I was able to be exposed and learn from leaders. So I guess we should provide these avenues, these things that will really nurture, instill among our students these perspectives of transformational leadership.
Thank you. To make them realize real life experiences, okay,
yes.
To promote critical thinking and to learn from live cases, okay?
Live cases.
What I've gathered from you, Chancellor. Thank you very much. We have a lot of questions, but in the interest of time, we will be sending your comments and questions to our speakers for them to answer, and we will share them via email to those who ask questions. Before we close this webinar, may I request our speakers for some closing or takeaway message. I would like to begin with Ms. Regis. Your closing message, please.
My closing message would be related to my own experience, which is it's never too late to become an entrepreneur. For me, I became a business owner at a later age in life, 42, and my first venture became really successful. Well, aside from when the pandemic happened, but at least I got to bounce around it and adapt, and I have now a very, very interesting product, and it's available locally in Cebu. If I may, I'd like to advertise, and soon it will be available in Metro Manila in all the groceries also in my presentation. So yeah, it's never too late to try and succeed. Thank you.
It's never too late. I'm 48 and I think I will start my own business soon. Thank you.
Go, go.
Ms. Regis, thank you very much. I know you're in the airport. Thank you very much for being with us today. Thank you. Professor Kywe, please, for your closing message.
Yes, during COVID crisis, we have got a technology. Even I haven't used Zoom or whatever MS Teams before. We are using face-to-face meeting. Now, this is an advantage for us because of the COVID. We got it internationally connected. We can easily connect by using email, chatting, or webinar or whatever. So based on that experience, we should cooperate with even in UPLB and YAU. Why don't we communicate the Professor discussion between Professor online webinar, YAU Professor and UPLB Professor, something like that. And we have got international direct flight now. Myanmar Airways International and Myanmar National Airline is from Yangon to Manila, direct flight. So maybe hopefully we can make it some sort of the agricultural exchange, something like that. So we would like to invite also Miss Audrey to visit our country, to explore your entrepreneurship. We have a lot of potential. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Kywe. We do look forward for future partnerships with you. Thank you very, very much. And finally, Chancellor Camacho, please.
It is always asked, are leaders born or are transformational leaders made? If transformational leaders are made, then we should be providing the essential environment where they can grow, they can be nurtured. And I believe I would say I'm fortunate that the university has provided me with that essential training, skills, or competencies, giving me the opportunities to prove myself, the things that I believed on, the values that I would cherish, and share this to my constituents. If indeed leaders, transformational leaders are made, then we should inculcate them that essence of critical and creative thinking, that love for the organization, love for and concern for the organization or for the institution, because we as human beings, as we proceed in the development of the humanity, our purpose to become more resilient and to become more useful in the society. Transformational leaders are very important. They will be paving the way for the mission and the very purpose of which any structure, organization, or institutions are made. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chancellor Camacho. Can I just repeat, under an environment that promotes growth, development, and the exercise of critical thinking, transformational leaders are made.
Thank you.
Let me now go to the synthesis of what happened today. Professor Dr. Kywe emphasized the need for higher education in ARD. In Myanmar, Professor Kywe shared that this is done through implementing policies like an autonomous system, comprehensive approach, faculty strengthening, IQA, EQA, and accreditation. This also includes internationalization, encouraging private higher education and open university system. This also includes expansion of programs offered in agriculture. This was followed by Chancellor Camacho illustrating through his experience that transformational leadership is essential for education leaders and higher education institutions. In his plans of future-proofing UPLB, Chancellor Camacho shared that this will be done by developing methods, approaches, and frameworks to minimize cost and impacts of future events like climate change, typhoons, and the current pandemic. Our last speaker, Ms. Regis, shared her adaptive capacity as a transformational leader in the field of agribusiness. She showed us how she responded to a demand which is for mango products in the tourism industry. When the pandemic hit, she adapted by developing another product which allowed her business to cope with the crisis. Her entrepreneurial mindset showed to us an important trait of being a transformational leader. Ladies and gentlemen, this ends our webinar this morning. But before we close, please let us know what you think about this webinar by following the link to a quick feedback form shown on your screen. The same link will direct you to the request form for the e-certificate. Your feedback will help us improve our online learning events. Please note that we will only accommodate requests for e-certificates within 24 hours after the end of this webinar. Kindly wait for your e-certificate to be issued within 1 month. Thank you for understanding and thank you for your patience. Let us help one another get through this COVID-19 pandemic. We hope that as we go along, we will be able to create a community of better, bigger, and smarter farmers and farming communities. Once again, my name is Joe Florendo. I am from SEARCA. Have a good day. And until we meet again, keep safe, stay healthy, and mabuhay po kayong lahat.